what is called a perfect black body. A body having absorptivity 1 or 100% is called a perfect black body. An almost perfect black body can be prepared in laboratory this way. We can take some enclosed vessel, and in that vessel we just drill some very small hole, and through this very small hole, when we make some radiant energy entering in the vessel, after that, last time we saw, no energy comes out of that hole. So on that very small hole, whatever amount of radiant energy is made incident, it is getting absorbed completely. Means its absorptivity is 1 or 100%. Correct? Then it can be taken as perfect black body. Correct? Inside this part is hollow. We call it cavity. So now these are the walls of a cavity. Now I am not talking about absorption. Now I am talking about emission. How? Just heat up these walls. Okay? Maintain some constant higher temperature of that wall. Then what do we find experimentally? The inner face of this container starts emitting some radiation out of it. Okay? And in some time it so happens that some proper radiation pressure is developed inside, and after that, from that accumulated radiation, some radiation comes out. It starts leaking outside through the hole. So that radiation which is coming out of the hole is known as cavity radiation. What is it called? Cavity radiation. It is very important from study point of view. Why it is so much important? The reason is that the radiant energy emitted from any other surface depends on type of surface and depends on temperature. So radiant energy emitted from any other surface depends on two factors, type of surface and temperature. But here this cavity radiation depends only on temperature. It depends only on temperature. It does not depend on type of surface. So this property which this cavity radiation has, no other radiation has that property. Only cavity radiation has this property. That's why it is of so much importance from study point of view in physics. Okay? Fine. Now let us see, once again, we understood last time, let us revise what is called spectral emissive power. Spectral emissive power. What do you mean by total emissive power? W. We saw last time. Radiant energy emitted from given surface per unit area per unit time. Per unit time is called total emissive power of that surface. Okay? Suppose that total emissive power is 1000 units. How many? 1000 units. And in that we get range of frequency from minimum to maximum, say from 200 to 300. Suppose from 200 to 300. That is the entire range of frequency. Then what we had done last time? We had divided that range according to different unit of frequency intervals. 200 to 201, 201 to 202, 202 to 203, Likewise, you can select this frequency interval. Look here, this is frequency F, this is frequency F plus 1. Between these two frequencies, what is it? Come on, unit frequency interval. Unit frequency interval. Then, out of 1000 units of total emissive power, you have to find out how much power, how much radiant energy has frequency between these two. Suppose by this much amount, WF, say, then that value of energy is known as spectral emissive power pertaining to this frequency. How did we define last time about spectral emissive power? Amount of radiant energy emitted from given surface per unit area, per unit time and per unit frequency interval about a given frequency is called spectral emissive power of that surface about that frequency. I repeat, radiant energy emitted from given surface per unit area, per unit time, per unit frequency interval about a given frequency is called spectral emissive power of that surface about that frequency. Correct? Shown by symbol WF. What was the unit of WF? Unit of WF. After all, what is it? Energy. So unit is joule. Per unit area. So I should divide by total area. So anything per unit, per unit, then you should write it in the denominator. So you should divide by unit of area. Per unit time, so you should divide by unit of time, that is second. Per unit frequency interval, per unit frequency interval. So you should divide by unit of frequency, which is 1 upon second. Okay? Take this second up. And joule upon second is what? Joule upon second is watt. This second has gone up and this meter square is there. So watt into second upon meter square. Watt into second upon meter square. Watt into second upon meter square. Got it? Fine. What was the unit of total emissive power? Only this much. Only this much. Correct? Joule upon meter square into second. So joule upon second is watt. Watt upon meter square. Say unit of total emissive power was watt upon meter square. Unit of spectral emissive power is watt into second upon meter square. Watt into second upon meter square. Wait. If you add all the values of WF over the given interval of frequency, definitely you are going to get total emissive power. So total emissive power is nothing but summation of values of WF. When you take summation of WF values, you should write here F. But not necessary that we should classify radiant energy according to frequency. Not necessary. You may classify according to wavelength. According to wavelength. Then instead of WF, you may write W lambda. W. How would you define it? Radiant energy emitted from given surface per unit area, per unit time, per unit wavelength interval, per unit interval is called spectral emissive power of that surface about that wavelength. Radiant energy emitted from given surface per unit area, per unit time, per unit wavelength interval about a given wavelength, is called spectral emissive power of that surface about that wavelength, shown by symbol W lambda. W. Now tell me the unit of W lambda. It is energy, so per unit area, so divided by per unit time, then and per unit wavelength interval, per unit. So you should divide by unit of wavelength, which is distance, so unit is meter. Joule upon second, watt. Watt upon meter into meter square, meter cube. Watt upon meter cube, watt upon meter cube. Got it? This thing is new for you. W lambda value, the definition is not there in the textbook. Write down. Give the heading, definition of W lambda. Definition of W lambda. Written the title, definition of W lambda. Where you written lambda? Below W. Below. Sure? Sure? Na? Okay. Now one more thing. I hope everybody will be 100% honest in answering my question. Will you be 100% honest? Sure? Can I expect 100% honesty? Spelling of definition is DEFINITION. DEFINITION. If anybody has written NATION, NATION, there is a without any hesitation. Everybody, please don't feel ashamed. Just raise your hand. If you have committed this mistake, now what I expect more from you, let it be for the last time. Let it be for the last time. Spelling of definition is DEFINITION. Say, be definite while writing definition. Be definite while writing. Don't make this mistake here. You are being English medium student, making spelling mistake. Very shameful for you. That's why I said, let it be for the last time. Enough, enough. Up till this age, you have made so many mistakes, correct? I feel now you are saturated, correct? Now no more mistakes. No? Right. Right in the inverted comma. Radiant energy emitted from given surface per unit area comma per unit time comma per unit wavelength interval about a given wavelength is called spectral emissive power into bracket W lambda of that surface about that wavelength. Correct? Stop it. We define now new physical quantity. Look up emissivity of surface. Shown by symbol small e. Correct? Say this body emits radiant energy. Correct? From within it is having tendency to emit that energy from within. Okay? But how much energy will be really emitted outside? That is to be decided by type of surface. If this type of surface is very smooth surface, polished, it emits less amount of energy. If it is rough surface, it emits more amount of energy. If it is white colored surface, it emits less energy. If it is black colored surface, it emits more energy. That's why we need to define emissivity of a given surface. Correct? From the radiant energy which is incident from within. How much will be actually emitted outside? Just to determine that, we want to define this physical quantity called emissivity. It is a ratio of identical physical quantities. It is a ratio of total emissive power. W upon WB. B for black body. Ratio of total emissive power of a given surface to the total emissive power of perfect black body kept at the same temperature. Is called, such a ratio is called emissivity of that surface. Emissivity of simple. Because it is ratio of identical physical quantities, it is unitless. For silver, emissivity is found to be, look here, between 0.02 to 0.03, which is very small. For perfect black body, emissivity is 1. For perfect black body, absorptivity is also 1, emissivity is also 1. Kirchhoff's law. Very simple. A equals to E. A equals to E. This is mathematical form of Kirchhoff's law. Absorptivity and emissivity of any surface are always equal. Are always equal. This statement is called Kirchhoff's law. Absorptivity and emissivity of any surface are always equal. This statement is called Kirchhoff's law. Simple. Fine. How to prove this? When you say absorptivity is equal to emissivity, what does it mean? Less absorptivity, less emissivity. Say
Less absorptivity, less emissivity.
Speak conversely. More absorptivity,
More emissivity.
But how to prove? How to prove? It is very nicely proved in our textbook by a simple example. Look. Consider two identical metallic spheres. Identical from all respects. From size point of view, from type of material point of view, correct? Everything is same. Only one difference is there. That is regarding its surface. Here surface of this sphere A is suppose polished, correct? Very smooth. Surface of this sphere B is having suppose black color, okay? Black colored surface. Now make given amount of radiant energy incident on both of them for same time, right? Same amount of radiant energy is made incident on both the spheres for same time. You know what happens after some time? You talk about this one first. Its surface is polished, smooth surface. Smooth surface has less absorptivity. Okay, so it will absorb less amount of incident energy. It will absorb
Less amount of incident energy.
so at first sight what we may think, because it absorbs less amount of radiant energy, its temperature should be low. Its temperature should be
Low.
Wait. This one has, come on, black surface. Black surface has more absorptivity. So if it really absorbs more radiant energy, then its temperature should be more. That is what we think at first sight. Temperature of this should be low, temperature of this should be high. No! Practically what do we find? Both of them have same temperature. And that is equal to room temperature. That is equal to
Room temperature.
So think how this can happen. If this receives less energy and suppose it loses more energy, suppose, then its temperature will go down. Temperature will go
Down.
correct? This one absorbs more energy. Suppose it loses less energy, its temperature will go up. But no, temperatures are equal. Temperatures are
Equal.
so what does it imply? It implies that this, when it receives less energy, when it absorbs,
Less
it must be emitting also less energy. The one who gains less loses also less. This one, though after absorbing more energy, its temperature remains constant, meaning thereby it must be emitting also more energy. The one who absorbs less emits less. The one who absorbs more emits more. That's what I'm saying. Mr. Kirchhoff also. Not only me, Kirchhoff also says the one who has less absorptivity has less emissivity. More absorptivity, more emissivity. Absorptivity and emissivity of any surface are definitely equal. Correct? Fine. Now, Wien's displacement law. Wien's Displacement law. Why this word is there? I'll tell you. Just prepare practically the graphs of W lambda versus lambda for perfect black body at different constant temperatures. Say T1, T2, T3. With this condition, T3 greater than T2 greater than T1. Look at the first graph. What does it indicate? Before, what does it indicate? As lambda increases, value of W lambda initially decreases. At the peak point, it becomes maximum. Further, if lambda is increased, then the W lambda goes on. So here what is maximum? Lambda or W lambda? Here what is maximum? Lambda or W lambda? Correct. At the peak point, W lambda is maximum. Height is maximum. Height means y coordinate. Height means y coordinate is W lambda. So this is that wavelength at which W lambda is maximum. At which that's why we have given specific symbol to that lambda. We will call it lambda n. Lambda n. M is maximum. But keep one point in mind. This lambda is not maximum. This lambda is. This is that value of lambda at which W lambda is maximum. At which? That value of lambda is shown by symbol lambda m. Because it is at first temperature, I am showing by symbol lambda m1. Lambda m1. Similarly, say at temperature T2. At temperature look. Again at this peak point, what is maximum? Lambda or W lambda? Corresponding value of lambda, you must show it by symbol lambda m2. Lambda m2. Similarly here, lambda m3. Correct? What do you notice in the graphs? As temperature increases, value of lambda corresponding to maximum value of W lambda goes on decreasing. Means it is shifting. Means it is undergoing some displacement. That's why we call it Wien's displacement law. Wien's displacement law. Temperature increases, lambda m decreases. Temperature increases, lambda m decreases. Mathematically, Mr. Wien had found that lambda m into capital T remains constant. This constant is called Wien's constant. What is this value? 0.0029. 0.0029 meter Kelvin. 0.0029. Come on, unit of lambda, that is distance, is meter. Unit of absolute temperature is Kelvin. This constant is called, come on, Wien's constant. Lambda m into capital T is remaining constant. But remember, this is not simply temperature. Say absolute temperature. Say absolute. You must measure only in Kelvin. Got it? We now go for very important law, Stefan-Boltzmann's law. That law is this. In 1879, Mr. Stefan had proved one result experimentally. Same result was proved theoretically later on after 5 more years by Mr. Boltzmann and in 1884. Same result. Because same result is proved by 2 different physicists, we just give the name of that law, that combined law. There, Stefan-Boltzmann's law. What is that law? W proportional to T raised to 4. What is W? So many times it has come in this chapter. This W is what? Say. B be responsible, be attentive. Simply don't physically sit here. Sit from physics point of view. Your only body should not remain here. Mind also. What is W? It is directly proportional to fourth power of absolute temperature. Fourth power of
Absolute temperature.
Wait. When you change temperature, you should not change the surface. So surface is remaining same. That's why I'm writing for given surface. Okay? And now you go on changing surface. You go on changing
Surface.
instead of smooth surface, you may take rough surface. Compared to smooth surface, rough surface has more emissivity. Has
More emissivity.
more emissivity, then more radiant energy will be emitted, then it will increase total emissive power. We find practically W is directly proportional to E. W is directly proportional to
E.
When same physical quantity depends on more than one physical quantities, what do we do on right hand side? We take multiplications. W proportional to this into this, say E into T raised to 4. Hey, remove this sign of proportionality, put some proportionality constant. Say sigma. Say
Sigma.
called Stephen Boltzmann's constant.
Stephen Boltzmann constant. Stephen Boltzmann constant.
What is the value? Very simple to remember. 5.67 into 10 raised to minus 8. 5.67 into
10 raised to minus 8.
watt upon meter square Kelvin raised to 4. Watt upon meter square.
Kelvin raised to 4.
Very easy, na? Value is very easy, na? 5, 6, 7. But please remember, here there is a decimal point. Remember, there is a minus sign. And when you remember whole right hand side, please remember it is Stephen Boltzmann's constant. Right? The way right hand side is important, left hand side also
Important.
Otherwise, in the examination, you will remember right hand side. But then all the while you will be thinking here, whose constant is this? Whose constant is this? Left hand side is also equally important. This is Stephen Boltzmann's constant. This is
Stephen Boltzmann constant.
Stephen Boltzmann's constant is this. This is Stephen Boltzmann's constant. Stephen Boltzmann constant is this. This is.
Stephen Boltzmann constant.
Why the unit is watt upon meter square Kelvin raised to 4? Why the unit is watt upon meter square?
Kelvin raised to 4.
Find out sigma. Make it subject to the equation from here. Sigma will be W upon E T raised to 4. W upon
E raised to 4.
unit of sigma. Unit of
Sigma.
will be unit of all this. Unit of
All this.
unit of total emissive power. Unit of watt upon meter square. Say
Watt upon meter square.
only this much. Hai and joule upon second was watt. Watt upon meter square. Watt upon
Meter square.
and E is unitless. Emissivity is unitless. And so capital T raised to 4. So Kelvin raised to 4.
Kelvin
Say
raised to 4.
bring this down. Watt upon meter square Kelvin raised to 4. Watt upon meter square.
Kelvin raised to 4.
Got it? Fine. Write down that law. Stephen Boltzmann's law. Write orally. Check what you remembered. Write the statement in words. Total emissive power of any surface is directly proportional to fourth power of absolute temperature of that surface. That word absolute must have been written absolutely without any change. Have you done?
Yes, sir.
Look now. Look. Suppose we have one body whose temperature is higher than temperature of surrounding. T is the temperature of body which is greater than temperature of surrounding. When this body has higher temperature, it has a tendency to lose energy. It may lose energy, say heat energy, by way of heat conduction, by way of heat convection, by way of heat radiation. When you consider all the three modes of heat transfer, then you should say net rate of loss of energy. Net rate of
Loss of energy.
net rate of loss of energy. Correct? Let it be dq by dt. Let it be
dq by dt.
correct. time rate of losing heat energy, time rate at which heat energy is lost, time rate at which heat energy is
lost.
let it be dq by dt, and it is by formula E sigma A T raised to 4 minus Ts raised to 4. E sigma A T raised to 4 minus. Give me identification. What is E? Say emissivity. Say what is sigma? What is capital A? They don't say area. Surface area. Say a body has two types of area. One is surface area. One is correct. Surface area means total surface area, or otherwise cross section. Here it is not cross section area. Here it is surface area. You can say area of that surface from which emission takes place. From which emission takes place. Fine. What about capital T? Absolute temperature of hot body. What is Ts? Absolute temperature of surrounding. Okay, fine. Now, Newton's law of cooling for induced convection. Newton's law of cooling for induced convection. Convection are of two types: induced and natural. Induced and natural. Mr. Newton had formulated one law for cooling. Law for cooling of a body when it loses heat energy by way of induced convection. By way of induced convection. And that law mathematically you can write this way. Look, minus dt by dt is proportional to T minus Ts. Is proportional to
T minus Ts.
What do you mean by dt by dt? Time rate of change of temperature.
Time rate of change of temperature.
But because body is cooling down, its temperature decreases. Temperature
Decreases.
Because of decrease I am putting minus. Na? So you can say rate of decrease of temperature. Time rate of
Decrease of temperature.
time rate of
Decrease of temperature.
is directly proportional to difference of absolute temperature of black body. Sorry, is directly proportional to difference of temperature of a body and temperature of surrounding. But remember, because it is here not temperature but temperature difference, you may take both the temperatures either in degree centigrade or in Kelvin, no problem, no problem. Because temperature difference, whether measured in degree Celsius or measured in Kelvin, come out to be same, come out to be
Same.
I repeat. Time rate of decrease of temperature. Time rate of
Decrease of temperature.
is directly proportional to difference of temperature of a body and temperature of surrounding. Simple. Now when you remove sign of proportionality, you may put proportionality constant. Say K dash. Say
Yes.
why I am not putting K? What is K in this chapter? Thermal conductivity. Correct. So if I write K, somebody may misunderstand that it is thermal conductivity. No, actually it is not thermal conductivity, it is proportionality constant. Proportionality
Constant.
it is not thermal conductivity. That's why I am putting different symbol K dash.
Yes.
And now the last result for natural convection. For what is the time rate of decrease of temperature? That was decided by two scientists, Mr. Langmuir and Mr. Lorentz. Mr. Langmuir, say Mr. and Mr. Lorentz. They had formulated this law. They found that this rate is directly proportional to 5 by 4 power of T minus Ts. 5 by 4 power of
T minus Ts.
minus dt by dt is proportional to 5 by 4 power of T minus Ts. Here only one power, here only, and here power is 5. Got it? This sum number 7 is very good sum, and you will not understand that much from textbook. See, in textbook, at many examples where the figure is necessary, they are not drawing. So things are found to be difficult. Okay? Here I am drawing proper figure, you will understand 100%. Read the statement carefully. Just to understand very easily, let us plot a little diagram. Here is the passage of time. Passage of time. So beginning moment, I just take t equal to 0. Correct? Say this is 5 minutes, say this is 10 minutes, say this is 20 minutes. What is the time interval between these two instants? Come on, 5 minus 0, 5 minutes. 10 minus 5,
5 minutes.
20 minus 10,
10 minutes.
fine. Let this interval be delta t1, let this be delta t2, and let this be delta t3. Let us go one by one. First temperature you are given 80 degrees centigrade. 80 degrees centigrade. Then it becomes 64 because the body cools down. Temperature decreases. Then becomes, and then at the end of 20 minutes, suppose it becomes T dash, which we require to find out. How much? We have to find out. Apply Newton's law of cooling. Minus dt by dt equals to K dash into T minus Ts. Minus dt by dt equals to K dash into T minus Ts. Minus. What do you mean by dt? Difference in temperature. Say change in temperature. Change is always final minus initial. Change is always when you move from here to here, here to here. What is the change in temperature? Final minus initial. A final means 64. Initial means 80. Final minus initial. Divided by corresponding time interval. Corresponding 5 minutes. How many? 5 minutes. K dash as it is K dash. A what is T? Temperature of cooling body. But when body is cooled down, gradually its temperature will go down. Temperature will go down. Whenever any quantity is not remaining constant and yet you need to mention that value, you must go for average. You must go for average. And here average value of temperature of cooling body. Average value of temperature of cooling body. Average means what here? Initial temperature plus final temperature divided by 2. Summation divided by 2. Summation divided by 2. 80 plus 64 upon 2. Say 80 plus 64 upon 2. Minus is 64 minus 80 minus 16. Where minus minus? 16 upon 5. 80 plus 64, 144 upon 2, 72. How many? 72. Equation number 1. Consider next time interval delta T2. Again it is 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Minus dt by dt equals to K dash into T minus Ts. Newton's law of cooling. Newton's law of cooling. Minus as it is. A what do you mean by dt? Change in temperature. Say change means what here? Final minus initial. When you go from here to here, what is final temperature? A what was initial? 64. Final minus initial 52 minus 64. 52 divided by corresponding time interval. Corresponding. There is a lot of strain in the eyes, Komal. Finding difficulty, yeah? ऐसा देखिए I know all this coded language. Once upon a time, I was also a student of 11th standard. Correct? I'm 11th standard pass out. Listen. Final minus initial. Final minus initial. 52 minus 64. 52 minus 64. Divided by corresponding time interval 5 minutes. 5 minutes. And that equals to K dash. Say K dash. A what is T? Average temperature of cooling body. Average temperature of cooling body. Average means what? Yes. Summation divided by 2. This plus this upon 2. 64 plus 52 upon 2 minus T. 52 minus 64 minus 12. Say minus minus. 64 plus 52 comes out to be 116. 116 divided by 2 is 58. How much? 58. Equation number 2. But you have to take ratio of equation 1 to equation 2. This upon this. So it is this upon this equal to this upon this. This upon this. Come on, 16 upon 5 divided by 12 upon 5. So when you write multiplication sign, come on, 5 by 12. Say 5 by 12. This upon this, k dash will cancel. 72 minus ts upon 58 minus ts. Simplify this, you will get the value of ts. How much? 16 degrees centigrade. How much? 16 degrees centigrade. You may place this value here or here, anywhere, no problem. Let me put it here. Start with this. 16 upon 5. Say 16 upon 5. K dash. Say K dash. 72 minus ts. 70 minus ts. Ts. How much? 16 degrees centigrade. 60. Simplify, you will get the value of k dash 2 upon 35. 2 upon 35. 2 upon 35. Equation number 4. And now, let us take this time interval now, 10 minutes. Last time interval, that is delta T3, 10 minutes. Come on, apply Newton's law of cooling. Minus t by dt equals to k dash into t by dash ts. Minus. Hey, what do you mean by dt? Change in temperature. Final minus initial. T dash minus 52 upon time interval. How much? 10 minutes. Don't take 10 minutes to answer. Say promptly, what is the date? 10 minutes. That equals k dash. 2 upon 35. 2 upon. Hey, what is the average temperature of cooling body?
Average temperature of cooling body.
Summation divided by 2. Final plus initial upon 2. 52 plus t dash upon 2. 52 plus
T dash upon 2.
and minus ts. 16. Ts is 16. Simplify, you get the value of t dash. How much? 36 degrees. 36 degrees. Can I give you some extension in the same sum? Say yes.
Yes.
Boldly.
Yes.
Readily.
Yes.
Write down there. Right. In sum number 7. Find final temperature of cooling body. Final temperature of cooling body at the end of 1 hour from the beginning. Shall I give you a hint? Then try to understand that hint and then don't make any mistake. Look up. From beginning. So, from here we should consider 1 hour. 1 hour means what? 60 minutes. 1 hour means
60 minutes.
At the end of 60 minutes, suppose it is T double dash. Say T.
Double dash.
Hey, what is the time interval already elapsed? Already elapsed is 20 minutes. 60 minus 20. 60
minus 20.
40 minutes. Say
40 minutes.
Say
40 minutes.
let it be delta T4. Let it be
Delta T4.
Got it? What is this ability dash? You got it?
36.
So here is 36 and later on T double dash. Later on T at T double dash you have to find out. Krishna, you got it? Krishna? No, sorry. You got it? Got it? 14.67. Now say, very simple. Now look at the step. Check the step what you written. Minus. Have you done?
Yes.
Then T double dash minus 36. T double dash minus
36.
upon 40. Written na 40?
Yes.
Sure?
Yes.
That equals
to K dash. K dash is already 2 by 25 into average temperature now. 36 plus D double dash upon 2. So here it should be 36 plus D double dash upon 2 minus 60. Minus 60. Then simplify here. It is a matter of simplification. How much time you will get in examination for 3 marks numerical? 5.4 minutes. 5.4 minutes. 100 marks. How many hours? 3 hours. Means 180 minutes. Suppose we consider 3 hours. Then also the time what you are taking is too much. 180 minutes upon 100. That is 1.8 minutes per 1 mark. For 3 marks, 1.8 into 3, 5.4 minutes. Instead of 5.4 minutes, only for simplification you are taking 10 minutes. And then also you are not getting answer. Physics is totally dependent on mathematics. So you must be knowing how to simplify.
Look now, last article of the chapter. Look now. Greenhouse effect. First of all, what do you mean by greenhouse? It is the house which is prepared for the maintenance, for the very good growth of living planets, living plants, small plants which we call saplings, okay? If you have visited nursery anytime, you must have seen separate arrangement made for the cultivating these small plants, and that separate arrangement is made in the form of a room which is having its ceiling made up of glass, transparent glass, or might be transparent plastic, right? That room is known as greenhouse. Okay, fine. Now, what is greenhouse effect? Look, here is sun. Okay, it emits a solar radiation. That solar radiation passes through, and for visible light, our atmosphere of Earth is transparent. For visible light, Earth's atmosphere is transparent. What do you mean by being transparent? It will allow to pass visible light completely. Now that solar radiation is made incident here on the ceiling, it is being absorbed here inside. Fine. Here inside it is soil and some plants are there. Okay, small plants. Now this everything, these plants and the soil, everything absorb that solar radiant energy. Now after that, what they do? They re-emit that energy in the form of infrared radiation. Having wavelength ranging from roughly 8,000 angstrom to 20,000 angstrom. From 8,000 to 20,000 angstrom. Fine. But for that infrared radiation, these walls are not transparent. Okay? So what will happen? That infrared radiation, that energy will not be able to go outside this house. So it will remain inside. And as that amount increases, the temperature inside increases. The atmosphere inside becomes rather warm atmosphere, which is suitable physical condition for good nurturing of these plants. Okay, fine. Now, this effect is known as greenhouse effect, where temperature is rather maintained higher temperature and the warmth is received. The plants feel warmth. Okay, this effect is called greenhouse effect. Same effect is realized on the surface of Earth. How? Say this is surface of Earth. Say these are atmospheric layers. Okay, here is sun. For visible light, atmosphere of Earth is transparent. So visible light can penetrate the atmospheric layers. It can be incident on the surface of Earth. But for infrared radiation, what happens? For infrared radiation, it is being absorbed by the molecules, atoms of air, molecules of carbon dioxide gas, and molecules of some polluting gases. Molecules of some polluting gases. That radiation is being absorbed. But after that, the molecules in the lower part of the atmosphere, they re-emit that energy in the form of infrared radiation. Again, out of infrared radiation, which has been emitted from each atom or molecule, some part you can see it is coming back towards the earth. During daytime, surface of earth is being heated up. During night time, it is likely to cool down. Correct? Yes, it is getting cooled down, but not so much as it should do. Here actually what happens? Out of the radiant energy emitted by these atoms and molecules in the lower part of the atmosphere, some part of emitted energy comes back on the surface of Earth. And as it comes back on the surface of Earth, even in the night time, the atmosphere becomes very warm, increasing and maintaining the temperature. Okay? This effect is called greenhouse effect. If greenhouse effect would not have taken place, then in the night time, the surface of Earth might have lost the total heat energy, and then temperature on the surface of Earth would have gone down very much, correct? And in that very low temperature condition, we could not survive also. We might not survive also, correct? So for our survival, this favorable physical condition is arising due to greenhouse effect. So greenhouse effect is favorable for us, correct? It is good, it is a blessing for us. Wait. But it is just causing some damage also. The polluting gases causes this greenhouse effect, correct? There is a contribution of polluting gases also. But because of that pollution, what happens? In the cold region on the surface of Earth, because of this greenhouse effect, the ice is getting melted. And if the ice is getting melted, the glaciers, when they will melt, then it will transform into water. And as that water is spread, then the level of water in the sea, in the ocean, it will increase. If the level increases, then that water will spread on the land, And as it spreads on the land, then the land available for the creatures which are residing on the soil, on the ground, for them the land will be reduced, right? So there will be reduction of land for them. So for them it will be difficult to survive, right? So we should restrict the pollution. Okay.